So to begin, this is today's date is February 26th, 2026, and this recording is for the final milestone for our Power BI project. To begin, I'll start by discussing which questions I chose to be answered with my tables, dataset, analytics. The first question is, what is the most watched anime over the entire time period? What are the average minutes watched per session? What device is used least to watch anime? And then a bonus one I kind of made up here recently when I made a calculated column was what users are the most avid watchers. So I'll start by explaining what I did for the data cleaning and transformation. So first, I'm showing you the Excel sheet from the original that I imported into Power BI. This user column is one column. So when I took it into Power Query, I divided the column into first name and last name. So I renamed the column after I split the column. Then in my fact table, I took all of these nulls, and in Power Query, I switched them to the lowercase italic null, which is the actual value in the table, so that it would count it as a blank instead of just this string of words, string of text. That way that when we were doing the analytics, it would recognize null as a blank value. I also changed this, the format of this date in Power Query, because as you can see, right now it's just a number. So when I took it over to Power Query, I turned it into a date so it'd be usable for the analytics. Let's see here. This is for essentially for the transformation, but I have two fact tables that do the exact same thing. So what I did, because as you can see the watch ID does match up to a certain point, was that I added a column to each fact table, and I switched it to watch ID A1, A2, A3, A4, and this one B1, B2, B3, B4. Deleted the original watch ID columns so that I would be able to append it in the next step. Then I switched the formatting of this time watched to numbers so that I'd be able to use it for analytics as well. As for the data transformation, as I mentioned before, I made extra columns, deleted them so that I could append the original column or the second fact table to the original fact table. As you can see, it goes to A and then switches to B for watch ID. So that's how I was able to append the table. Let's see here. The only difference between the two tables was that table A was 2025 and table B, if it works eventually, table B, as I mentioned, is 2024. So I took 2024 table and I added it to the 2025, or appended it to the 2025 table. Then just a brief overview of my data model. This is my data model. I have a date table, or a date dimension table, user dimension table, and then anime dimension table, and then this is my main fact table, anime watch history. Each dimension table connects to the fact table, one-to-many relationship, the watch ID being the primary key of the fact table, and user ID for user being the primary date for the date table, and anime ID for the anime dimension table, and they are all foreign keys in the main fact table. Then I can move on to my visuals and kind of explain what they have going on. My main table here, the user viewing statistics, I have first name, last name of each user, percentage of total time watched. This is the total time with no filters, average time, minimum time watched for each user, max time, and then the median time for each user. This is that extra category that I was talking about earlier, which I can address in the analytical questions afterwards. This is one of my cards, average minutes per session during each watch session. This is my other card, which has the total device count, which would be these three, either desktop, mobile, tablet. It's just a distinction between how each user watched their anime. It could have been on a computer, on a mobile device, or on a tablet. And this is my matrix visual, which is anime viewership by year. You have the year, specific anime, and then we can break it up by 2024 and 2025. Total time watched for Attack on Titan in January, 45 minutes. February, 177 minutes. Actually, no, sorry, I misspoke. This is the two numbers that equaled the total for February, which is 215. Then January is 45 minutes total. Sorry, I misspoke. But that is total views for Attack on Titan for the 10th of February. So it could have been from multiple users. And then on my second page, I have my drill through table, my database overview, explaining the data set and the analytical questions. And then I will explain how each question is answered in the visual. So the first question being, what is the most watched anime over the entire period? As you can see, the most watched anime for 2024 and 2025 total would be Attack on Titan at 16,710 minutes for the 2-year span. Close second by Blue Lock, followed by One Piece, Frieren, and Jujutsu Kaisen, which I don't entirely agree with that order, but that's the randomization of Makaru. So yes, the most watched anime for the time over the entire time period was Attack on Titan. The next question being answered, what are the average minutes watched per session, is by this card visual here, 89.28 average minutes per session. And then the last question, that is, what devices use least to watch anime? We can see the device total here. If I slice it by desktop, it's 335, mobile is 308, and tablet being the lowest at 297. So it was used the least in that 2-year span by all users, the tablet. So, and then the last question that I just added on, what users are the most avid watchers? So I took the median and I essentially said if the user's average or median time is watched is over the median, then they would fall into this otaku category. And if it was under the median, they would be in this casual category. So I just thought that was a cool little calculated column to add there at the end. And this is my conditional formatting as well. I did it on the percentage of total time watched, and as you can see, Asta is has the highest percentage because he watched the most anime. So thank you very much for your time.